I have five close friends. Five. Five people I could call right now, even if years had passed, and wouldn't feel awkward. Not in the slightest. But my very best friend, she's with me every single day. And if you're feeling lonely in this season of your life, I need to introduce you to yours. So, hey, I'm Lori. And if you're in midlife or honestly, I guess any stage where you're watching your friend, your friendship shift and wondering, everybody went, then this one's for you. Because here's what nobody tells you about getting older, right? Friendships morph. When you're young, your world revolves around your friends. Mine did. And then when you get married and have children, then your friendships suddenly revolve. They sort of become functional. And you become friends with other parents or friends of your kids' friends, if that makes sense. And there was a long time, many, many years that I swear people didn't know my name. They didn't know I was Lori. It'd be like, oh, you're Courtney's mom. Oh, you're Chaz's mom. Oh, I get it. You're Ashley's mom. Yep, I didn't have a first name for many years. But then the kids go off to school, right? Our kids all go off to college. And those friendships, well, I guess at least for me, tell me if you can relate, they sort of faded, right? They sort of faded into that occasional text message. Maybe a walk every now and again, but for the most part, they just weren't in your life as much as they were. So maybe you're still working full time and your friends become your coworkers. I think it's because they're in proximity to you. But what happens when you retire or you get laid off or your kids move away? Just you become empty nesters. You reach out to some of your old friends, you go to dinner, but it doesn't take long before you realize, well, maybe you don't really have anything in common anymore. And I see this a lot when you go to high school reunions. Everyone's just competing. Who has the most impressive life? Who has the smartest kids? What hockey team is your kid on? Are they captain of the team? It becomes who has the best story to tell. I know it sounds familiar. I know everybody can relate to me. At least if you're in midlife or older, you absolutely can relate. And I've been fortunate. I have those five friends, again, that I could call anytime. Five people that I love without judgment. And I know they love me the same way. But is five enough to fill a calendar? No. But honestly, to me, it doesn't need to. Because the most important friendship I ever made started when I was a teenager. And it came from a very painful, painful place. And I'm going to share a story. And I'm not even sure my friend knows the deeper meaning to this story. I was always, growing up, I always felt pretty much worthless. And whatever friends I did have, I was always so scared of losing them. And when I was in college, I think it was my second, third year in college, I had a friend, and she is one of the five today. But I had a friend who meant the absolute world to me. And one day she just didn't want to be friends anymore. I got a letter in the mail, and she just did not want to be friends anymore. And you got to understand, I spent a lot of time with this person, so it definitely took the air out of my lungs. My worst fear is that my friends would see me who I really was, and they wouldn't want to be friends, and they would leave me. Well, and that came true, and it crushed me. It crushed my soul. But after the tears, once I could stop feeling sorry for myself, something in me shifted. It always did. Always did. And I really did a lot of soul searching. And I learned two things, right? First, what I realized is I was not the same friend to her that she was to me. And it took a lot to admit that, but it's very true. And that it then sent me on a journey to become the kind of person, who leads with love and service to others. And through that journey, I learned a couple of things, but what I discovered in the first part of it is, and I didn't expect this, that I love to serve. Don't know if anybody can relate, but I love to serve. Whether it's my husband, my kids, my friends, coworkers, strangers, does not matter. Serving people is like air to me. It literally fills me up. And I'm hoping somebody can relate to what I'm saying. And then the second thing I had learned is that, and this is the one that changed everything, I guess. My greatest friend was already with me. And I learned that person would never leave me. I was never alone. I had learned to meet myself. I had learned to meet, call it what you want, call it your soul. I call it my soul, call it your inner child, call it whatever you want. Just my inner person. And to this day, as weird as this may sound, I never feel lonely. I just don't. I hope I never do. That is one thing that I don't think I have experienced, at least from when I was a teenager. But don't get me wrong. No, wait, let's back up. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids. I love my husband. I love my coffee dates with friends, our walks, our connections. I love all of it. But I also like going for a walk by myself. I love sitting in a coffee shop alone, whether it be journaling or what, just sitting and being. And I love hanging out with my husband. We don't even have to talk. I love when he wants to hang out, maybe except when he wants to do yard work. I don't mind doing yard work, but it's not top of my list. Actually, that's where I just came in from. I was picking up sticks. It was pretty windy here, and I was just picking up these tiny little twigs, branches, whatever you want to call it, and it's quite chilly out, which is why I came in and started a fire. And hopefully it's not too distracting, but it feels so good, the heat on my back. Anyways, the point is I'm genuinely happy in my own company. I guess that's the only point I'm trying to make. And I've seen a couple videos lately. You know how when you watch one video, more and more seem to show up in your feed? Well, that I think is what happened. I've been watching videos about people who are feeling lonely, that they're in a time of life that they're lonely and they don't know how to build friendships, especially the older you get. You just feel like it's harder to build friendships. Maybe especially like in midlife or beyond. And when I see one of these videos, when I hear these people talking, I just want to reach through the screen and introduce them to themselves. It breaks my heart because that friendship, the one that you have with that inner person, your soul, it is the most important relationship you'll ever build. It really is, because it's from that stems so many other emotions, so many other feelings, so many other actions. And it's not unrealistic that as we get older, we just spend more and more time alone. Our kids have busy lives, and they're supposed to have busy lives. We've all gone through that season, especially if they have a young family. So I don't expect my kids to come by all the time. I know they can't. And I love when they do come by. I do get to see my kids often, and I talk to them often. But even visiting a couple times a week, what are you supposed to do with the other 5 days? Are you supposed to just sit there and be lonely? Of course not. Of course not. So if you're someone who's struggling with being alone, let me give you a couple simple ways to start enjoying your own company. First of all, start small. And there is no right way. There is no right way to do this. But take yourself on a solo coffee date. Yep, you heard me. Take yourself on a coffee date. And bring a journal and just sit and watch people, right? And when you go up and you order your coffee, get it in a mug. Unless you really feel uncomfortable in the beginning to sit by yourself at that table alone, then get a to-go cup and maybe take a walk and sit on a bench or whatnot. But if you can try and sit at that table with a real mug, right? A real mug, and they'll make that little design in your coffee for you. Just sit there. No phone scrolling. Just be present with yourself. So that's the first thing I'm suggesting. Notice what you notice, right? Is there something that makes you smile? Why did it make you smile? Did it bring you back to a memory? Why? Just think about it. Find something that lights you up. So maybe it's not a coffee date. Go for a walk by yourself. Just embrace nature and just get lost in it. Great channel is Escaping the Suburbs. If you haven't seen it, go find it. Escaping the Suburbs with Scott. He takes you on some great walks, and it's really immersive and makes you feel like you're there. But maybe there's other things that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you've always wanted to try painting or gardening. I love gardening. I live in New England in the States, so I can't necessarily garden all year long. But even if you can't garden outside, you can certainly get some plants and build yourself an inside garden. And I actually did a project last year, and I think it's just called Garden. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but it's an indoor garden, and you grow these plants in these long tubes. Anyways, maybe I'll do a video on that one day. But grow yourself an inside garden, right? Reading. Do you like to read? Start a new series. Cook a new recipe that you've never tried. Actually, over this summer, one of my daughter's summer bucket list ideas was that she wanted to learn how to grow or make, or whatever you call it, sourdough starter. So her and her dad actually did that this summer. And they started a sourdough starter, and she has made some amazing, amazing sourdough breads. So I'm telling her she could have a little side business there. But just recently, she tried a new recipe and made some sourdough bagels. And I will put a picture somewhere, because then I think my husband got a little bit jealous that she did that. So he went and made himself some sourdough bagels. But find something you like to do. Find a recipe. Just get lost in the moment. Just, again, make a list maybe of some activities you've always wanted to do. But just have it be something where you can lose track of time. Because when you're genuinely enjoying the moment, you don't try and fill the silence. You just be, and then you enjoy the moment. And talk to yourself kindly. And I'm totally serious here. The way we speak to ourselves, and I'm talking to me here too, the way we speak to ourselves matters. It really does. And I guarantee you would not talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself sometimes. So start treating yourself like someone you deeply, deeply care about. Because, you know what? Here's the truth, right? When you learn to genuinely enjoy your own company, you stop looking for other people to complete you. And it really changes everything. Now, having said all this, don't get me wrong, wanting human connection is natural. Companionship is a must. We're wired for it. We're not meant to be alone. We're just not. And if you're in a season where you're craving more companionship, there's so many ways to find it. Obviously, you can volunteer. Find a cause that you genuinely care about. An animal shelter, a food bank, and not necessarily just at the holidays, a hospital, a library. Just give back and meet people. And especially if you meet people where you share your own values. Another thing is you can take a class, join a group, book clubs, right? I'm thinking of starting my own book club online. There's so many different things you can do. You can join a walking group, a running group. Do you want to take dance classes? Have you ever wanted to learn how to dance? Art classes. And a lot of this stuff can actually be at a local community center. You may not even have to pay for some of this stuff. And even the virtual classes can connect you with other people who share your type of interest. There's programs out there where you can volunteer to spend time with seniors. And there's some seniors who are incredibly lonely. Wouldn't that be an amazing gift? While receiving connection yourself is to sit with somebody, talk with somebody. You could also start a YouTube channel, start a blog, host a neighborhood coffee morning or a walking group every afternoon. Sometimes you got to be the one that actually creates it. And here's something that I have recently read, and research has actually shown that this works. Say hello to everyone you pass. I'm totally serious. We've become so antisocial, especially up here in the northern part of New England. We refuse to look up from our phones. We're walking while we're staring at our phone. Or we'll sit down in a restaurant and you could have 2 or 3 people at the table and they're all on their phones. We have just become so antisocial. We walk right past each other without even making eye contact. But studies have shown, this is true, that even those tiny interactions, a smile, a good morning, a brief chat with a cashier, can significantly boost your mood and your sense of belonging. And it may be awkward at first. I purposely, for 1 week, anybody that I interacted with, whether it was a checkout at the grocery store, whether it was getting a coffee, whatever it was, I would try and find something that I could say to compliment that person. Whether, oh, I like your sweater you got on today. What a great color on you. Oh, I love your nail polish. Perfect. Or if they're carrying something, oh, have you tried that? Just when you compliment somebody, that, first of all, it's an instant connection, but that just moves their energy and just is a highlight of their day. God is my witness, it is a highlight of their day. And by doing that, you also reap the benefit. It's amazing how good you feel. And I forced myself, and as awkward as it was, I forced myself to do this 1 whole week, every person I interacted with. But now it's second nature to me. It's just second nature. It's very easy just to comment something positive, something good to somebody. Ask the barista how their day is going. It's just these small moments of connection, they add up. And it reminds us, reminds me, reminds them, they're not invisible. We're all part of something bigger. And you know what? If we can learn to become our own best friend, don't think it's selfish. It's not. And is it survival? Maybe. Is it freedom? Maybe it's just a peace. Maybe it just gives you a sense of peace. And it's not about convincing yourself you don't need people. Again, I've said we do. We do need people. I love being around people. I just love being by myself just as much, though. We all need that connection. It's not about needing people to validate your worth. It's not about needing somebody outside yourself to make you feel whole, because that's the thing, you already are. And social media, if used correctly, can also be very helpful. Beautiful communities can be built, but it starts with you. It starts with the you inside you. Call it what you want, your inner child, your soul, your guide, the voice inside. It's been there all along. It's just been waiting for you to listen. So let me ask, do you ever feel lonely? And that's not a trick question. But do you enjoy spending time with just yourself too? And if you don't, what would it take for you to take that first step to spending time with yourself? Drop a comment and let me know. I read every single one, and I love, love, love to hear your stories. And if you're looking for a place to connect, maybe you don't know where to start with other people, on their journey maybe, who are trying to reconnect with their inner person, their soul, trying to learn how to simplify their life, learn how to raise their frequency. I've created a community just for that, totally free. It's called Lori's Soul Circle, and you'll find it on School. I'll put the link in the description below. And I am going to start doing bi-weekly live sessions. I have not started that yet, but I do send out weekly newsletters. And we're just there to support one another through a messy, just beautiful life and who we're all becoming. Come join us. Love to have you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm here several times a week. And it's just real conversation. Real conversation. Because here's the thing. You're never really alone, Your best friend is already with you. It's just whether you realize that or not. And maybe you just need to say hello. That's it, folks. Remember how much you matter. You really, really matter. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.